If you enjoy this podcast, then be sure to check out Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily, where you can get your daily dose of farm wisdom. Tune in every day to learn the latest tips, tricks, and stories from the world of farming. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just getting started, our podcast has something for everyone. Join us as we explore topics like farm business, crop planning, soil management, and tools and technology. Start your day off right with Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily, available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe today.
I'd mentioned the convenience aspect earlier, but I mean, it's hard to convince people in this area to come. Our farmers market is also, unfortunately, entirely on a parking lot, and how kind of the spacing is done. We tend to have pretty high winds and pretty high temps, a lot of radiant heat from the asphalt. And so getting people to come out in the middle of the summer, if they don't come out by 11 o'clock, the kind of market dies by noon. And so, because it feels like it's 110, as they're walking through the market. And so I think pushing the online store, using the connections in the social media presence that I've tried to build to push people to the online store for pickup and delivery. Like, hey, you don't have to get here early in the morning, or hey, you can go pick it up through one of these kind of little locations I'm trying to set through the county. But equally so is been looking into starting my own mini farmers market, kind of roadside.
Let's get into that a little bit more. I'm curious, when you mentioned starting your own farmers market, I was like, okay, I need to hear more about this.
So there's been some pushes and attempts in the area to start some non-sponsored farmers markets. The biggest one, which is the one that I sell at, I'll call it sponsored. It's done by the town, and admittedly, I think it's run at a loss every year, like how much money they're taking in. And so starting farmers market is quite the undertaking. I have looked at and have seen where people have sold roadside at a couple locations in the area, and it was simple enough as to say, hey, if I get a couple other farmers who are willing to tag along, work out an agreement with the property owner for setting up here and pull the permit or two, which is required, because thankfully it seems pretty lax in the area, and is pretty lax as far as where you can set up and which properties are zoned for doing farmers markets and craft markets. It's kind of something that I'm working on to try to get figured out to start in the early spring, because again, we don't have a lot of alternatives. So it would be a Saturday market at the market I already do, and then would be a Sunday market at this kind of roadside market, which would be visible from the road, which has, admittedly, it's per week, but I think upwards of 40,000 cars travel on that road. And so just that one direction would be 20,000 almost. So it's, of course, a Saturday or Sunday is quite a bit less, but hey, I guess knocking on wood, if I can have the signage up and, advertise, we'll be set up here on Sundays, get that signage out on a Saturday. I think that's quite a few eyes on the farmers market, that, calling it a farmers market, the little mini market. So, and then I think for me, it's kind of, of course, I'm selling at the little mini market that I'm doing right now, indoors at the Raw Juice, but it's building that kind of recurring customer where even if they don't come every week, it's a part of their schedule. They can park close to you. It's not a big undertaking. And to be able to extend that into what would be then the winter season with an indoor mini farmers market. So just kind of keeping that customer connection, because from last year to this year, even with doing the deliveries and the social media, it seemed like there was an unfortunate amount of people that just kind of, like, hey, you had bought from me for 32 weeks, almost straight. Where'd you go? And unfortunately, there was quite a bit of that. And so it's trying to keep that customer connection, staying in the routine, having that face-to-face interaction, even if it's not every week, every other week, once a month. So, there's that kind of, they feel like a part of your family. They keep coming back,
Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower. Let's face it, seeding in the nursery is tedious and time-consuming. Turn the drudgery into efficiency with the time and labor-saving Quick Click Seeder by Modern Grower. The Quick Click can seed a full nursery tray in seconds. It's fully compatible with all trays on the market, such as paper pot, airstrip, cell trays, prop tech, and more. The Quick Click can also be used for microgreens. Cut your time spent seeding by 75% with a Quick Click Seeder available at shop.moderngrower.co.